Welcome to the Dope Dad Podcast. This is an unscripted journey for those who are invested in parenting. There's no judgment, there's no BS, just honest conversation about what it really means to be a dad today. It's raw, it's real, and it's unapologetically dope. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the show. This is the Dope Dad Podcast. I'm your host, OJ. We're at Podwork Studios here in Mesa, Arizona. Today's going to be another dope episode for you. I brought back up again. I got another dope dad. Somebody that I've known for 15 plus years. King to his queen, 2 kiddos, man, been doing it. Reputable homeboy that I've had in the Valley for a long time. I want to introduce my boy, Keifer Gilbert.
What's up, man?
What up, dog?
How you doing?
I'm here, bro. I'm always well, man.
Yeah.
So, welcome to the show, man. It's funny. We met for coffee about 2 hours ago, and we sat in here and we talked to Bill, the producer, for 45 minutes before we got popping. I feel like we've already done 2.5 podcasts already, man. But
yeah, it's good, man. We were excited to get this thing going, and it's funny too, man. Like, I kind of held on to this little bit of it, but there's 2 ways that you played like a really big role in my life. And I don't even know if you realize this, but when I first got hired at Cowboy Chow, I had recently gotten fired from Applebee's because I was serving there when I first moved down here to Phoenix. And I remember Googling restaurants in Scottsdale, and my podunk ass from Winslow saw like Cowboy Chow, having no fucking clue what that was.
Yeah.
And I was
Cowboy,
like, Cowboy, all right, that's probably a spot that I'll kind of fit in.
Yeah.
And I remember walking up to that door and like jiggling the handle, and you were setting up for service that night. And I walked in and you're like, "What's up, man? How can I help you?" And I was like, I'm looking for a job. And you had asked me about my work experience and everything, and you had kind of broken down like the difference between Kaz and Chow. And you were like telling me to apply for Cashmere's instead of Chow from the experience that I had.
Yeah.
And that was such a launch pad for me in the industry that like I've always looked back on like that specific moment and like the interaction that I had with you, and you ended up like immediately introducing me to PK, like at the wine bar right there, like at the front of Cowboy Chow. And I don't know, the interaction that I had with you, like there was that instant kind of connection where we were just like kind of bouncing shit off of each other, which explains like why we've been here for like 2.5 fucking hours, just like chopping it up before we started recording. But even on top of that, so like I ended up getting hired on. And that was like kind of where my bar career had started. And like, you know, I've had a great run doing all of that. But it's funny too, because I don't know if you've ever connected these dots too. You introduced Taylor and I. Did you know that?
No. I knew that we all worked together. We were all in the same circle, but
yeah. So there was an occurrence, and her and I had been talking about this since you and I were talking about recording this episode.
Yeah.
But I had recently started at Kaz, and I had just gotten the outline done on my right arm, and I was walking outside, and I'm pretty sure we were sitting there smoking a cigarette, man.
Makes sense.
And you were like asking about the tattoo and everything, and I was showing you, and Tay came out because she was hostessing at Chow, and you introduced us, and like you were kind of like sitting there, like letting us shoot the shit for a little bit. And she said, "You guys walked back into Chow, and you guys end up back at the hostess stand." You looked at her and like, "You think he's fucking hot, huh?"
Yep.
And she was like, she like fucking got bashful for a second and shit. And you were like, "You into fucking white boys?"
Yep. That's gonna be your baby daddy. That's some funny ass shit, dude. Dude, I remember meeting you, bro. And it's funny how you said, you know, just like the chemistry takes off and you know, one conversation leads to another. There's so much value in that, right? Mm-hmm. Like, that's why we were successful in the hospitality industry, because the business is people, right? Like, people have this misconception that it's food and beverage. Like, it is for the average consumer. You go in for some food and for a drink. But for us, our business is people, bro.
Yep.
You know damn well it can be a shitty plate of food. It could be some slop. It could be a mediocre drink. But if you felt good and you felt connected and you felt recognized, or if you walked through the door and I'm like, "Yo, Keifer, what's up, man?" Immediately you're like, "Fuck yeah, like this is my place, man. Like I belong here," right? So our business is people, man. And it makes sense that you continue to like excel and flourish and move around and do other things. I didn't know you were at Applebee's though, bro. Like that seemed to have mistaken. I came from Chili's too.
Oh, hell yeah, man.
You know what I mean? Like you got to have a foundation somewhere, bro.
Yeah, it's got to kick off somewhere, man. And I ended up getting fired because I missed like the beginning of my shift. And then I ended up going in like 4.5 hours late, and like I just still smelled like Jaeger. And then like walked in, and they just looked at me. And I was like, "What do I need to sign to just like agree that I don't work here anymore. And they're like, nothing, you can just go.
Yeah, here's your check. You can just run along now.
Yeah, dude, just
That's funny.
kick rocks. It's fine.
There's been a long time since Jaeger or Rumpelmans or Fernet or any of that stuff has really been in my life, man. I mean, I think one of the last times I drank Fernet, I got fucked up at my house. My wife and kids fell asleep. I was like one of those, by myself drinkers. And as soon as everybody else like crashed out, I felt comfortable being able to drink unapologetically, right? And so I would normally do like a beer and a shot, but I was out of like anything else that I would shoot. Jack and all that stuff was gone, so it was just like a bottle of Fernet. And I'm like, oh, I'll do this. So I'd like play some Call of Duty, and in between rounds, I'd like take a couple of hits off the Fernet.
Yep.
And I woke up, bro, butt naked in my little girl's room.
Oh shit.
She had been with my wife sleeping and shit, but there was a bathroom in my little girl's room, and that's why I ended up there, because I went into the bathroom. I'm like piecing together the night. I'm like, fuck, dude, this is not a good look. And I opened the bathroom door, and there's just like dark black vomit, like all over the sink and the mirror. I must have like did like the hand smear, Dude, it was awful, man. And honestly, like I don't know why that's like still a core memory for me when I look back at my drinking days, because I never look at my drinking days as like, oh, those were the glory days. And like, oh, we had so much fun. Remember when we were on the boat and we were all fucked up? Like, I never really think of my drinking days with like a positive light.
Yeah.
I think of shit like that, where I'm like, man, I never want to be there again. I never want to be that guy. Thank God my wife didn't find me that morning, and I was able to mitigate some of that damage, bro. Or my kid, you know what I mean? Like, imagine a little ass kid, and
Seeing dad like that, man, that's
wrecked.
it would stick.
Yeah, dude.
It would stick. Yeah.
Walking around all butt ass naked and throwing up in the sink and shit. Like, I don't know. And we've all been there, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not in the kid's room, ass naked, but
Right.
just to circle back. So, let's start with the very beginning. Let's start with your family, what you got popping off at home, and then we'll jump into like sobriety and a whole bunch of other shit. But just for the viewers who are kind of getting into it, man, like talk a little bit about your queen and the kiddos, man.
Yeah, so Tay and I have been together for like just shy of a decade now.
Damn.
Yeah, that's crazy, huh?
Sir,
yeah,
bro.
man. Yeah.
That's badass.
Yeah, getting close to a decade. And then Cooper is 6, turned 7 this summer in June. And then Silas just turned 2 in January. So we got 6 and 2. And it's a blast, man. Both boys. Coop's kind of getting back into some sports stuff. He's in first grade, going to school, starting to get into like...
In Gilbert?
Yeah, he's over in Gilbert. So he goes to that ASU, that preparatory academy.
Okay.
Yeah, because we had moved over to Gilbert, man. And we ended up making friends with the neighbors pretty quickly. And they were asking, because he was still going to school in Chandler, because we were living in Chandler at the time. Mm-hmm. We didn't want to pull him out in the middle of kindergarten and like switch schools, because it was already going to suck that we were going to have to switch schools. So we kind of wanted to like delay ripping that Band-Aid off for him a little bit. Like, you've made some friends here. Why don't we just let you kind of like finish a year out with them? We gave him a heads up. Like, you're going to be switching schools. Like, your friends, you're not going to be going to school with them next year. So like, soak this up kind of thing. Yeah. Just trying to be as straight up with them as possible. And we make friends with the neighbors across the street. They've got 3 boys too, and one's the exact same age as Cooper.
That's so dope.
And so they've turned into like super good friends over the course of the past like year and a half that we've lived there. But when we move in, she's like, you guys should consider applying for, it's like a public charter school, so it's a lottery system.
It's called Great Hearts?
No, this is ASU Prep.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so it's like ASU Polytechnic Preparatory Academy or something like that. It's the full name of it. But we apply. And Tay's dad, in the process, he was like, hey, your grandpa was a professor there. So like we could notate, and I don't know if this has any weight to it or if we just got lucky and he like made the cut, but he ended up getting in. And so we've been taking him there. And the kid across the street, Coop's best friend, they're in the same class too, man. So
that's super dope.
It's been really cool.
That's really cool. Until they're like the same girl. Yeah, then shit hits the fan, bro. Then shit gets really real.
We got a few. Just take it out in the front yard. You two swing, and then fucking give each other a hug and
scrap out here.
Yeah, just get it out, dude.
Dude, we did the same thing with the prep, the raffle for our kiddos, and we ended up yanking one around the same time, like first grade.
Sure.
And then our oldest, though, she was in 4th grade, so she finished 4th, and then we yanked her at 5th. So she still had one more year with all of her friends, and we were like, dude, I'm sorry, bro. Yanked her, and we did a podcast, and she confided in me. She was like, yo, that fucked me up. Like, I did not
like that
at all.
She called you out on it.
Oh, man. I knew that it had an impact. I guess I didn't know the severity Yeah, but dude, sometimes it's hard, right? Like I don't feel like I'm so far removed that I forget what it's like to be a kid, right? Like
Sure.
some of those emotions are still there and some of that like perspective is there. But then a move like that, I'm like, oh, bro, I'm lost. Like I was far out of base.
Yeah.
But I moved around a lot too when I was a kid, man. So like I went to many different elementaries, junior highs, and high schools and shit. And so like switching new schools, I'm like, yeah, it is what it is, you know?
Yeah.
Kind of comes with the
Do you ever find yourself in like parenting situations sometimes like that, where you almost have to kind of take a step back and relive some things as a kid to like give yourself the perspective of like what they could possibly be going through? That shit's happened to me a couple of times, man. And it's been really interesting to kind of work through, and it started illuminating some behaviors that I have and informing me of where some of the shit that I do might be rooted.
Yeah. Dude, there's been many core memories unlocked, both good and bad from my kiddos, you know?
Yeah.
Where it's like, they'll be telling me a story and shit. I'm like, fucking like, oh man. But one of my kiddos was recently going through a battle with like friendships, you know, and friends like, I don't want to be your friend anymore.
Yeah.
The kids change all the time, right? But girls are like kind of extra heartless and relentless, you know what I mean? And like really like twist the knife and shit. Mm-hmm. And so my shorty's been going through it, and she's like, it's so fucked up. I don't know what happened. And like she was talking, and I just like went off, and I was like, that motherfucker Dane. some punk ass kid named Dane. I remember being a young kid, and he was like, I don't want to be your friend anymore. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck did I do?
Like, come on,
Like,
man.
What's going on here, buddy?
Yep.
And he was a bitch anyways, and I'm sure he's probably like,
Bitch-ass Dane.
yeah, drinking himself to death on the side of a sidewalk somewhere. But I was crazy. I was like, holy shit, dude. Like, I can resonate with that. Like, dude, that like speaks to me. I remember what that was like.
Yeah.
I remember what that was like to feel abandoned and thrown away. And the fact that I wanted to be somebody's friend and they didn't like me. And so you start to like self-reflect and like, what is it about me? What did I do wrong?
Yeah.
Obviously the answer is fucking nothing. I know that, you know that.
Sure.
You know,
Yep. Just being fucking kids, man.
crazy though.
Yeah. It's interesting because I've had that same experience where you get that like soldier that's fucking having flashbacks of war, man. It's like it's a visceral reaction, and it stops you dead in your tracks.
Oh yeah, dude.
And it's like flashbacks, man, where you just watch this little human that you see so much of yourself in going through and processing these things that maybe you haven't ever chopped back up.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like picking this scab off sometimes. That is really interesting. I always like to ask other parents that and just be like, what's been that process for you? What has that felt like and times that it's shown up? Yeah,
dude, it's tough, man. And honestly, I think it's easy for parents to just like dismiss it, you know, and move about and be like, yo, dude, like you're a kid, man. Like what the fuck are your responsibilities?
Sure.
Right? Like I feed you, I clothe you, I home you. Like do the schoolwork, do the dishes. Mm-hmm. Like, dude, life is easy.
Yeah.
But it's not.
It's not.
Dude, being a kid is so fucking hard. Could you imagine being a kid right now?
Fuck no.
Like with phones and social media and digital this, that, and the other thing, and like trying to fit in. And I mean, dude, I remember how much money was a factor growing up.
Okay.
Like if you were a rich kid or a poor kid, you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
who do you get to fit in with? And I went to public school, so it was like, yo, what clothes you wear? That shit matters, bro.
Yeah.
Like all of that shit determines like who you get to hang out with and spend time with and who would acknowledge you and who wouldn't. Like the girls that you would be able to, you know, date or try to date or whatever. Like all that shit mattered, bro.
That it's like a barrier to entry a little bit. Like there was
100%.
like the first time that you've experienced like a social determinant.
Yeah.
That was limiting.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. So we did one of those raffles too. The kiddos went to Great Hearts and dude, uniform required. And I don't know if you ever worked with Steve Faulkner. He was on the show.
Fuck yeah, man.
Cool ass homie, dude. So Steve's the truth, man. And he was telling me about his experience because he ended up going to military school out in Carlsbad, bro. Like fucked up and had to go to military school out there when he was a kiddo.
I didn't know that.
And that was uniform required.
Okay.
And so when I was talking to him about that, because his kids went to Great Hearts as well, that he had with Rhonda, black kids. And so he was talking about some of the obstacles there because it's like a pretty white school, you know. And he's like,
Yeah.
dude, there's not a lot of black kids. So they're like already kind of struggling to fit in, but it's uniform required. So at least that eliminates one barrier. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, well, everybody else looks the same, right? So you can't judge a kid based off their clothing. You have to determine if you're going to be friends with them based off like their merit, who they are, characteristics, like what they talk about, what they're all about.
I've never thought of it like that.
Which is really fucking cool. It's really cool.
So Cooper, ASU is uniform.
Yeah.
And at first we were super apprehensive with it because Cooper's going to end up being my creative for sure. So he's got like, the kid's got swagger, man. He just does. Like he can throw together outfits and like he likes to look nice. He likes his hair to be like a certain way. And like, bro, he's 6 fucking years old and he's already like paying more attention to this. I'm like, bro, I'll wear the same jeans for like 4 fucking days in a row, dude.
Where's that hoodie that I slept in yesterday?
Yeah, dude.
Yep.
Like he'll call me out sometimes like, you wore that yesterday. I'm, shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Washed it.
Yeah. I flip my underwear inside out. They're clean,
now,
bro. Come on.
So fucking funny.
But he did struggle with that a little bit. Like we didn't want to feel like we were taking away a portion of him that was like able to express himself. But from that viewpoint and that lens of it, like I'm actually really glad that he's been somewhere like that.
Yeah.
And so like one of the cool things too is like he's been like, can I just pick some cool shoes out?
Fuck yeah.
And so he just wants fucking Jordans now, bro.
Yep.
Like he's got to have this fucking maroon polo with his khakis and like pair of
Some
fucking
nice steppers,
J's,
yeah,
dude.
bro. Like honestly, growing up, the first thing you look at on somebody, like in my experience growing up, was you look at their kicks, bro.
Yeah. Yep.
You always had to, and they didn't even have to be nice, but they had to be clean.
Yep.
If you got some dirty ass shoes, bro, like man, you don't give a fuck, bro. Like, you know, if you look like you just ran across a football field in them, like. Nah, bro. Like they had to be clean, nice steppers, fresh laces, all that stuff.
Yep.
Yes, I think that there is like a element of kids who want their independence, right? Like that freedom to be able to be creative and express themselves. I think there's extreme value that you and Tay will find out on the back end of them not being pigeonholed like right out the gates because they don't look a certain way, or maybe like that swag that he has, you know, like he shows up and his drip's not well received, and now all of a sudden he starts to internalize and he's like, fuck, what is it? And this whole school, they all wear like Birkenstocks and clogs or Crocs or whatever, right? And he doesn't really get down like that, so it forces him to like alter his style to try to blend in or fit in. So there's definitely like a very positive benefit to having a uniform required to start, right? Just to start. And then you get to kind of like flourish outside of that, man. So,
No, I like that. That's good insight, man.
yeah, it's dope for the kiddos. So now they're done with that shit. They're like, bro, I want out of this school. I want a bigger campus. I want more freedom. I want, teachers who are excited about teaching. Cause it's a bunch of young teachers, like average age of the teacher there is probably like 25, bro.
Oh shit.
And
Okay.
they're like pretty fresh out of school. And so this weird kind of, I don't know, like dictator approach to, teaching and shit like that. And the girls don't really get down with that, man. So it's not how they learn, man. And you know damn well, like it doesn't matter what the schooling is or the curriculum is, but if you got a teacher that can connect with you and inspire you. And I think there's one person, right, that's an adult that teaches us stuff through our life. And we always refer back to them. You're like, yo, that person,
Yes.
they showed me what art really can be. That person showed me how to like hear music the way that I hear it now. That person unlocked my interest in science and how shit works and, learning more about stuff. So I don't know. I think that if you have teachers who are passionate about teaching and education and can inspire and connect with a kid, like it's important to try to like harness and foster those relationships and make sure that they have those opportunities, because my kids aren't getting that right now. And that's why they're like, hey, I want to go back. I want to go to a different school. I want to go to public school, which is cool because at this point in time, like they're old enough. I'm like, yeah, dude, like you got it. You got a good foundation. Continue to do you.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, I like that, man. It's tough too because there seems to be like a little bit of a disconnect because we've had some of the same issues with like the education system, and teachers are obviously like violently underpaid.
Fuck, it's awful.
It's crazy, man. And I can look back on my time in school and pick out those exact teachers on like everything you just said. Like every time you like were making one of those points where it was like, I listen to music this way, I look at things this way, or I got excited to learn this, because there was like a person that was like immediately rattling off in my head there. And I worry sometimes that like my kids aren't getting that right now. And it stresses me the fuck out, man, because like at a certain point, you as a parent, it switches, right? And you know this, like I've seen it happen with Cooper because he's going through kindergarten and first grade, but they go out into the world.
Yeah, dude.
And the only thing that you're able to do is like course correct on what they bring back to you when they're in school, because like you can't control what's going on out there. You've got, your 4 or 5 years with them at the house, trying to, you know, teach them decision making and discerning right from wrong. And like, this is how, you know, we speak to others around us. This is how we treat others around us. This is how you address adults, all of this shit. You know what I mean? And then you cast them off. And then they're open to and getting influenced by other parenting styles that are like permeating through children they're interacting with. And then you can't be there and see everything that's happening, but you get the remnants of it when they get home. And like, that's your time to fine tune, course correct. And like that shit's hard, man.
It really is, man. It's tough letting other people, I don't want to say like parent your kids, right?
Right.
Semi-parent, have an impact on
Yes.
who your children become, I guess would be the best way of putting it. There was a time, dude, within the last 2 years that my oldest was at that school. And dude, one of the teachers, that she was like walking in, dude, I got little girls, man. Like, all intents purposes, bro, like, they can be bitches, you know what I mean? Like they can have an attitude, they can be short, they can be snippy. Like I catch it more than anybody else, but you know, they can be kind of like snarky and bitchy,
sure.
You know? And I guess we all can, right? Mm-hmm. But she was walking into class and this teacher said something to her and she just like kind of blew past him. You know, we'd probably had some type of situation, you know, in the car on the way there or whatever. And she just blew past him. And I watched this dude like raise his voice to my daughter. And he's a grown ass man, bro. He's a teacher, right? Like this dude happened to be like in his 40s or something. And dude, it was a concert that day. I remember because my wife was in the whip. And so I watched this dude, like I heard his vocals go up and I like watched the acoustics raise and shit. And I like looked, you know, and I had like the door kind of open and kind of closed. And I like looked at my wife and she's like, go. And I was like, fucking
word,
say less, you know? And I fucking was gone, bro. I bolted across that parking lot.
Yep.
And he had like followed her in the school.
Oh, he was on a fucking mission
to reprimand her or hold her accountable for dismissing him or not paying attention or whatever. And bro, I did like one of those weird, like where you like run, jump, you know? And I like kicked the slam bar door and I was right there and I was like, who the fuck are you talking to?
Yeah.
But I realized I just entered a school. So there's students everywhere. I'm like screaming at this teacher. My daughter turns around like,
she's like, I know that voice.
Yeah, Dad?
I know that voice.
And the dean of students, you know, which is basically the principal,
yep.
You know, they just call it something cool and scholar-like, comes out and she's just like, sir, hi, this is who I am. And I'm just like, looked at her hand and I'm like, who the fuck are you talking to, man?
Yep.
Like, that's a little girl. That's my little girl. Like, I don't know what the fuck you think is going on here. So anyways, it was like this weird, like, I lost control, right? Like, I should have been much more composed. I can't take that back. But in an environment where people feel comfortable raising their voice to children to get a response or to get compliance, I struggle with that, bro. Like, I don't do okay with that. Like, school's hard enough. Active shooter drills are hard enough. Fitting in, social media, where do you put your phone? You can't have your phone. It's this, it's that, it's the other thing. It's the emotional highs and lows. This person doesn't want to be my friend, but I sit next to him in class, and so now I feel outcasted, left out, embarrassed, whatever. And now you've got a teacher raising your voice to me. Yeah. Or now I've got somebody else making me feel insecure because I don't understand what's happening, and I'm scared to raise my hand because I don't want to portray myself as unintelligent in front of all the other kids. Like, it's fucking tough, man. Yeah. It's really, really tough. So I don't know, man, like the schooling environment itself, like it started out amazing, dude. We love the school. I don't have really anything bad to say about the education we received early on. Mm-hmm. I think just as my kids continued to get older, wanted more freedom, wanted a bigger campus of people, wanted a larger friend network, it became obvious to us that, you know, like, hey, maybe there's better people and teachers out there, right? Because you want people who are going to inspire this like ongoing quest for knowledge, to learn more, to be more, to see more, to do more. And my dad, dude, he's born in 50, so he's 75 now. Bro, still reads every day, always learning more, always happy to share what he learns. Like, I want that for my kids. I want them to desire learning and growing as much as my dad, who's 75 years old, wants to continue to learn and challenge himself to try new things and do new things.
And it sounds like they do. Honestly, man, like if they're getting to the point where you guys are looking for like new academic opportunities for them, like it sounds like they've just simply outgrown what that school's able to offer them. Yeah. So like kudos to you and your wife as parents, man, because they're like searching for more. They want growth. They want like more out of what they're getting in the school system, and that place can't give it to them right now. So shit, my hat's off to you guys, man, because you're obviously like fostering environments where they're comfortable to even let you guys know, like, hey, I need more.
Yeah.
And like I think sometimes, like as kids, that takes a certain level of feeling safety. With the parents.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you saying that, man. That's what it's all about for me, right? Is like a household of honesty.
Yeah.
Like real feelings, real emotions where people can communicate and like you're saying, you know, feel safe saying, hey man, like I'm not happy or I don't like this or that makes me uncomfortable. Like I want all that shit, right? Like I want all the smoke. I want all the emotions, man. Bring it on. If you love it or you hate it, like let me know, man, so we can find a way to work around it, because I think a lot of us grew up, you just kind of did what the fuck you were told and you did what you thought was going to make the parents happy and stuff, and you didn't get a lot of say in a lot of stuff. Yeah. And not saying that was like necessarily like my upbringing, because I had like a little bit more freedom and support, I think. But I think that's hugely important. You know, I watch my wife starting to really embrace her journey of independence now as a woman, being like, man, I didn't realize that I was so restricted or so guided through my childhood, you know?
Yeah.
Which I think was, you know, probably had its benefits too. But man, I got to do all sorts of fucking up and learning from it, you know? So mine was a little more hands-on, I guess, so to speak.
Yeah, exploratory.
But,
yeah,
for sure, man.
It's cool, man. Like being in a position to foster an environment for a child is a blessing. And a blessing and a curse, I guess I can probably say too, man. Like we had an occurrence recently with my oldest.
Yeah.
That was like pretty eye-opening that I hope is an indicator that we're doing something well. He came up to my wife, this was a couple of weeks back, and it's happened a couple of times, but this one's kind of stuck with me. And he felt safe enough in the environment. Like there was something that had happened earlier in the day. I don't remember the exact occurrence, but at the end of the night, we had finished up like bath time, and we were doing some bedtime stuff. And he was like, hey, this thing that you said like upset me and it didn't make me feel good. And I was like, whoa. The fact that like he felt comfortable enough with us and feels safe enough with us to be able to express like, hey, there was something you fucking did earlier that upset me, that it's been like sitting with me and festering, and like I need to address it with you so that we can like fix it and kind of move forward, was really interesting, man. And like I don't want to say that I had like a bad childhood or upbringing or anything like that, but I don't remember an occurrence where I ever felt like that was a fucking option, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like there wasn't really, and like I love my mom and my dad to death. Like I've got good relationships with both of them, but there wasn't, I don't feel like that was a thing back then. That wasn't like a conversation or like an environment that was being encouraged.
Also, bro, like straight up, I think that it's gender driven, bro. I think as a boy, you're expected to take the bad with the good, shut the fuck up, keep it pushing, put some dirt on it, suck it up,
keep it moving.
Like, dude, there wasn't a lot of kids who were even aware of mental awareness.
Sure.
As a youth, there's very few adults that, you know, adult men that take it serious now.
Yeah.
And maybe that's like the foundation of like somebody who, maybe it's so foreign to us because that's the foundation of somebody who is going to be in tune with their mental awareness and like be able to have the confidence to speak about, you know, what they feel and how they feel and why they feel that way.
Yeah.
Like that's fucking awesome. That's huge. I was saying earlier, I remember that my daughters had said like, they've all pretty much set some boundaries with me, you know what I mean? And that's always kind of weird and like slightly embarrassing because like I want to think that like everything I do is awesome and cool and like well received. But there's some stuff where my kids are like, dude, I'm like, what? Like, dude, wait, dude, me?
Whoa.
Dude, me? And they're just like, yeah, man, like, come on, bro. Like, I don't like that shit. I'm like,
oh man, that's going to fuck me up when that happens.
Right? So right there, boom. How do you respond?
Yeah.
Defensive? I didn't mean it like that. You're overreacting.
Ooh.
Do you do all those things that fuck us up? Or do you do the thing and say, hey, man, I'm sorry. Thank you for telling me.
Yeah, I see you.
Like, bro, right?
Yeah.
Like, dude, that's like those critical fucking parenting points, man.
Yeah.
So when your kiddo says some shit like that and you guys say, yo, how big of you to let us know, man? Like, that's awesome. And now we can avoid having those types of situations in the future. Like, appreciate you telling me. Like, boom, now he's more likely to talk to you again about it in the future. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah,
other things.
Being able to be open, right? And it's like you said, man, like open door. And like it used to freak me out a little bit because we don't hide anything. Like there's no filter. Like, and I think both of my kids, Silas hasn't like completely started talking yet, but Cooper is very well spoken. And I think it's because we just never talked to him like a kid.
Boom. I love that. Yeah.
And there was never like that shit. And there was even like family members that like Taylor would be like, nope, not fucking happening. Like just talk to him normal.
Yep.
And he's super comfortable talking to adults because of it, because like we were interacting with him normal from like the get-go. And so that's been cool, man. Like I think just kind of harnessing and fostering like good environments where the kids can communicate, man. Like it's huge. And like seeing it, I know there's been a couple of occurrences where he'll have like beef with some of the fucking buddies at school and shit. And like, it sounds for the most part, like they end up just hashing it out and then they all just move on, which is like huge, man. I remember there was times where like you and your buddies get into a beef at school and like we'd end up just fucking fighting, man. Like that it would just go to blows. Like we didn't talk.
Yeah.
Like and it was never like just wailing on each other, but it just would spearhead like that.
Yeah.
And come
and
about
then we play basketball together.
That's it. Yep.
Like there was never this like long-term, like now it has to go even further because I got beat up, bro. Like I'm a little guy. Like I talk a lot of shit. caught a few ass whoopings in my time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
You chalk it up and move on, bro. Like that's how shit goes. And sometimes you pop off at the mouth and you get a black eye or two black eyes or a chipped tooth or whatever. You're like, man, the fucker could fight. Yeah. And that's it. That's it, right? Like you go back on with life, man.
I want that motherfucker in my corner. Now.
Yeah.
Whose ass we beat
buddies.
next?
Want to go skate?
Yeah, right,
Yeah,
right.
It's interesting. I don't know, man. I guess for the kids to feel comfortable, man, and be young adults. I mean, that's the goal, right? Like, I think you have a similar perspective, you and your wife to my wife and I, right? Where like I never treated them like babies because I'm not raising babies.
Sure,
I'm raising young adults, right? And so the same thing. Like I don't protect them from everything. I'm like, yo, like, yeah, you can jump off that thing. It might fucking suck. It might hurt. I don't know how deep that is. That thing might hit you in the ribs and that's going to suck. It might fall out from under you and you land on your tailbone. That takes a while to heal, right? But I still let them do it because how else are they going to become young adults if I don't give them the freedom to make those mistakes too? You know what I mean? So I don't know. For me, we skipped the whole goo goo gaga bullshit because that's not how they're going to communicate with real people in the real world.
No.
Right? And don't get me wrong, like my little shorties, there's times where like I might like switch my pitch a little bit, but bro, I talk to my kiddos the same way that I talk to you right now. You know, people are like, yo, man, this guy like swears around his kids. Yeah, man. Cause that's how I talk. That's just who I am. That's how I get down. My dad was like, yo, you swear a lot in your podcast. You know, people watch this. Do you swear a lot? I'm like, dude, that's how I fucking talk. Like that's actually me.
Yep.
I'm not going to try to put on some weird facade. Then it'll seem like less genuine. It'll seem scripted. It'll seem like, you know, I touched on this before too. Like I don't want multiple versions of me. Yeah. Right. I don't want my kids to be like, yo, why is he acting like that around those people? Right. Then they feel weird or uncomfortable. Like I'm consistent, bro. It doesn't matter who I'm talking to, who I'm with, what the conversation topic is. Like I like to blend in with anybody. I like to be a part of any group or whatever. But quite honestly, man, like what you see is what you get, man. And I guess maybe I'm an acquired taste. I'm not for everybody, but I think what I'm doing is inspiring my kids to be comfortable in their own skin and be consistent and, you know, like take them at face value, bro, because I don't want them to feel like they have to alter who they are as an individual to please somebody else.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's funny you mentioned the cussing thing because we've taken, I can't take credit for this. This was all Taylor's idea, honestly, but I remember there was a point where we were calling them like bad words. Oh, those are bad words. Those are bad words. Those are bad words. I cuss like a fucking sailor. And so I didn't want the perception of my son, and we only had one at that time, but him thinking dad just uses bad words all the time, or like dad gets to use these bad words and they're like off limits to me. So she had the idea that she's like, what if we call them adult words? I'm like, okay, like I dig this. And I was like, we kind of expanded upon it. We've given Coop the freedom, like he can cuss if it's just me, him, Taylor, and Silas. Like he can say everything under the Tuscan sun, no repercussions. There's times where I'm like,
Bruh.
Reel it in. You're milking it a little bit too much right now, buddy. Like let's tone this back. But for the most part, man, he's never had a slip up. Mm-hmm. He's never had an issue cussing at school. And so kind of like, I don't know, it's almost like the European
drinking thing,
dude. Like, let me kind of show you how to tailor this. And then like, he'll throw some combinations together with some cuss words where I'm like, fuck yeah,
nailed
dude.
It.
That was a good one.
Piece of fucking shit. It is. That's a piece of fucking shit. That Buick.
Yep.
That's so funny.
We've had, I don't know, man. It was like experimental at first, and then we're just gonna kind of like, hopefully this doesn't blow up in our faces, and it's gone really, really well. And I think it's just like you said, man. There's like a trust. He's like, okay, I'm not going to get ripped apart for slipping up and saying one of these things that you motherfuckers use like a comma.
Do it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, I think the more you restrict people from doing stuff, the more attractive and secretive it is, you know? And so they want that even more. Alcohol, you know, drugs, sex, whatever. I mean, dude, there's like a whole bunch of shit that can be categorized into the, you know, forbidden territory category. But I don't know, man. Like, how old were you when you started swearing?
Dude,
right? Yeah, exactly.
When wasn't I?
Yeah, when I had my first fucking friend.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
So I don't know, man. I feel like it's pretty common for kids to experiment with all that stuff. Historically, they just hide it from you, and so that either puts you in a position to be naive or unaware, right? Or in this particular case, you're like, okay, I'm aware, and now they're doing it responsibly.
Yeah,
or respectfully, right? Like, you know, I'm sure with the name calling, it's like, yo, you can say motherfucker, but you're not going to call somebody a motherfucker, right? Like if you're targeting somebody, then that's a different type of swearing.
Yeah, and there's been some situations where it's like protecting wifey, man. Like something got cast that direction, and it's like, Yep. There is no situation where that getting directed towards her is ever going to be okay.
Oh yeah.
Like, and it's.
I think there was one time one of my kids like raised their voice to my wife, or like they just like maybe they just like responded like really, really snippy or snarky or something like, right? They said something kind of out of pocket, and it's kind of like that, you know, that teacher incident where I just like flew through the door and I was like, dude, who are you talking to? You know, and it was immediately I was just like, yo, like the most obvious of boundaries are being set right here.
Yep.
Like never in a million years are you ever permitted to speak to her like that, right? But the same thing would go for her speaking to them, right? Mm-hmm. And she holds me accountable for the times that I've raised my voice or been disruptive, you know, insulting, you know, unintentionally, man. It's not targeted, but like my wife really holds me accountable to being a good dude. And she's like, yo, dude, they're kids. They're little girls. Like, figure it the fuck out. Take a walk. Get out of here. Like, don't swing that shit over this direction, bro.
Yeah.
Which is embarrassing as well, right? But a lot of it too is learning for me, man. Mm-hmm. You know, it's funny. When Nate was on here, we were talking about this too. He's just like, dude, I realized that, you know, my wife, you know, having kids, dude, it was like, it's new to her too, right? And even though she carried the child, like she doesn't know what she's doing, bro. Like it's new to her the same way that it's new to you. But I'm like, man, she's so much better at it than I am. She was so much better at it than I am, bro. Like, where the fuck did she learn?
Yeah, man.
What is she doing? Because she has like, dude, like a mother's touch, man. Like the elegance and the finesse that like she possesses. And I'm like just knocking shit over and just rugged and rough. And I feel like sometimes I do everything wrong. You know what I mean? I'm like, bro, thank God she's there to balance me. And like, dude, it's got to be tough for fucking single parents. You know what I mean? Like, I had a single mom, man, and me and my brother were tyrants, bro.
Yeah.
You know, like
that doesn't surprise me.
Dude, yeah. I look back, bro. I think back and like every once in a while I'll call my mom and was like, hey, yo, sorry about this. And she's like, oh, I forgot about that. I'm like, no, you didn't.
Maybe I shouldn't have brought it up.
Yeah, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. That was awful. But yeah, dude, we had to move all the time because me and my brother would be like throwing like ninja stars through the walls and shit, you know, just like crazy ass demon children, you know?
Yeah. It's, we'd briefly touched on this a little bit ago, or when we were having coffee, man, and it's, it kind of takes me back to like one of the things that I've realized, you know, raising my kids is my relationships have changed. And like you mentioned your mom, and my relationships with my parents have changed a lot. And my relationships with everybody around me has just changed a lot because I'm watching my kids go through all of this. growing and like seeing the world with like this new set of eyes and all this excitement and all these new feelings and emotions and experiences and all this different stuff. And this strange thing happened where there was like this downfall, water flow, cascading effect where I was putting myself in my parents' shoes of being like, man, this was, I remember being in a situation that I'm watching him go through, looking to you for guidance. And now I'm in that spot, looking at my son and then looking forward at you also and understanding, man, like it just kind of reshaped my view of the world and people of just being like, everybody started from that. And then whoever has to raise you, there's like this switch that just needs to flip when you have kids, that you've got to raise these people and be responsible for this thing and curate and guide and coach and do all of these things. And sometimes it's really easy to look back on your childhood and want to just like point and blame and be like, man, this is why this fucking happened. And all of this, you know, is the root cause of why I am the way that I am.
I'm broken because of you.
Yeah, it's like, God damn it, man. Here's the fucking therapy bill. But no, man, it's really altered my perspective and my relationship with my parents, where it's like, man, you guys were just doing exactly what I'm doing right now.
As a kid, right? Like you look at your parents and you're like, yo, you guys obviously have the answers.
You hope.
Right? Like, yeah,
that's what
you
fucking
have
think.
the answers. Like I brought you the problem, solve it.
Yeah.
You know? And so now when a kid comes to me for guidance, I'm like, fuck, I'm not equipped to give you any type of guidance, bro.
Man,
like,
yeah.
Who told you that I had the answer, bro? Because I'm still looking for it, you know? But I guess that's just the perspective, right? Like perception of parents being ultra heroic and invincible and all those things, you know what I mean? It's crazy. Like I remember like, dude, really resenting my pops. Like a lot growing up. You know, he was an alcoholic. He ruined our family. He fucking this, that, the other thing. And then I became him, bro. Like chew on that shit, bro. Like I turned into his ass for sure. 100%.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like it like really helped me take a step back and stop trying to blame people and try to understand people instead. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so I'm like, yo, man, maybe some of those decisions that he made, like, maybe they weren't easy for him to make, you know?
Yeah.
Like as a kid, you're just like, oh, he fucking left. Like, well, there's more to it than that, right? Like maybe you were asked to leave, right? Like maybe some of those decisions were made for you. Maybe some of them just weren't easy to make. Regardless, neither here nor there, right? Like now I just want to understand. Yeah. And it was easier for me to approach our relationship, which is actually really strong now, dude. Like he moved down here from Seattle. He went sober in 97. I went sober in 2010. Okay. So it's funny, like we've hit some meetings together and shit before, which is kind of crazy. You know, I like look across the room at him and shit, and I'm like, man, here's a dude, 75 years old, and still trying to be like a better dude, like the best version of himself. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit inspires me, dog. Yeah. It's really fucking cool, you know, because most people don't work on themselves. You know, it's easy to just be like, yo, this is how I am. Accept me.
This is it.
You know, just I've always been this way. Why are you trying to change me? You know, this is just like the way that I've always been. And I don't know. I feel like that's a fucking cop out, bro, because I'm 45, man, and I'm changing like all the time. Yeah. You know, and it's hard fucking work. You have to apply yourself, right? But you know, 6 years ago, bro, looking at your future self. I mean, dude, you've been off the sauce, bro, for 6 years, man. Yeah. And you could easily just kept drinking and doing your thing and you know, every bad situation that presented itself, I can blame it on somebody or something else and outside elements I had no control or whatever. But I mean, think about the difference that you've made in 6 years trying to better yourself every single day, right? Like making decisions with clarity. Yeah. Bro. Yeah. And it's not like life got easier. Right?
Fuck no, dude.
It just got more manageable, right? Like the way that you respond to situations just changed. That's it.
Yeah. And my sobriety journey has been special because it started almost right when I had my firstborn. I think Cooper was 6 months old.
Oh, you said he was born in June?
Yeah.
June what?
June 2nd.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gemini?
Yep. Yeah.
Yep. I got a June 10th.
Oh shit. Oh yeah. You know.
Oh yeah, dog. That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
I don't know if I believe in like the whole horoscope thing and all that stuff. Sure. I mean, I'm sure there's something to it, far beyond my understanding, but the hot and cold thing, That's
Dude,
just
it
no
is-
joke, bro.
Is on and off.
It's
And
really real.
You don't know when it's gonna happen, but I watched the shit happen.
Or why?
Yeah,
What
you're
the fuck
just
just happened?
and they
What
don't hide
happened?
it. There's no
man.
masking it. There is no keeping it behind any sort of filter or anything. It is like
Yeah.
you can just see them, and it's just this sour ass look sometimes. And I'm like,
I just made you a steak. Why are you mad at me?
why are you fucking mad, bro? Why are you mad?
Oh shit.
No, but he was 6 months old when I got sober. And man, it was, the conversation, we had touched on a few things of just the accountability side of stuff, man, but I just wasn't doing what I needed to at the house. And there was an occurrence where the shifts at Bitter when I was working there bartending were long. They were about 14 hours, straight just behind the stick. And I would have to leave pretty early because we were living in Scottsdale. I was commuting downtown. So you're looking at hour commute. If you hit traffic, it is what it is. But I was getting into this bad habit of I would get off work a little bit early and I would haul ass to the fucking bar down the street. It was just a game of how drunk can I get before they call last call. And you know how that first 6 months is, especially with your firstborn, where it's just like there's really not – it's not that you can't do anything. It's just that you, one, don't know what to do, and the baby's so dependent upon mom that you feel like you're a shadow almost.
For sure. Yeah, you're a back waiter.
That's a good way
I've
of
said that
putting it.
before too,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
It's really tough. I think that's, and certainly not to run with the mic from you, but I feel like that's one thing that people don't touch on enough is like how helpless a new dad actually feels, because it's embarrassing as fuck. Who wants to talk to that and say, yo, like, I don't feel relevant right now?
Yeah, man.
And like, how can you throw your needs on top of a mom who's trying to like take care of an infant, right?
There's no way to effectively communicate that you need anything during that time, dude.
No. That might be one of the times where I do agree with the shut the fuck up. And
Yeah, dude.
Suck it up, bro. Suck it up and move on. Don't do that. Don't do that. Yeah. Anyways, back to you. Sorry.
Yeah, so no, you're good, man. It was just that became a game.
Yeah.
And there was one morning that I slept until like 11, and I needed to leave around 12:30, and she just kind of sat me down, calm as can be. I'm not giving you an ultimatum. I don't want to threaten you with anything, but if I'm going to do this on my own, I'm going to do this on my own. And it was like, okay, all right. And you kind of internalize that for a little bit. And I had a couple attempts of like trying to get dry that just went off the rails. It was like, tried October and Halloween party. And I'm like, I can't not imbibe there.
Got to.
And it finally stuck Christmas morning, man. And so Coop was about 6 months and some change then.
That's your birthday? December 25th?
My birthday is December 14th.
No, your sobriety birthday.
Sobriety birthday is the 25th, yeah.
December 4th, bro.
No shit,
Something
dude.
about the holidays, man.
Yeah.
Make a motherfucker want to be a better person, huh?
Yep. Yeah. And it was just, man, I got annihilated on Christmas Eve, and Coop's first Christmas, man, like I couldn't enjoy. I was struggling, dude.
Wow.
I think I got home at 3. He woke up at 5:30 to open presents. And you know how we used to go, dude. I wasn't sober by any fucking means.
Yeah.
Like snapshots of what we did that morning, but I wasn't present.
Yeah.
And so it's been a really special journey, because I've had to become a parent during that time, and I've also had to like become this version of myself that like I can be proud of to even call myself a parent. And so it's been really special that those two things have been so linear. And I don't think I could have done it without my kids. I get a little frustrated sometimes when people are like, I wouldn't be here, because like that very much is a reality sometimes. But I think the grand scheme of things, like everything plays out how it needs to and how it should. I know I became a parent to do the things I've done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that when Tay sat you down, right, and you guys are at the table and she's telling you how your drinking's making her feel, I'm assuming I have some understanding of how that conversation went. how did you respond, bro? Were you defensive? Did you try to justify some of the behaviors and the actions as part of what I do? You know, I have to drink because of work and yada, yada, yada. Or were you actually like receptive? Did you actually hear what she was saying?
That morning I was receptive. I knew I needed to be.
Mm-hmm.
I could sense the weight of the situation.
Yeah, there's different types of sit downs with a wife.
She was very calm.
Fucking terrifying.
Dude.
Terrifying.
There was no, when the emotion got removed, and you know Tay, man, she's animated.
Dude, I'll tell you what, when a woman raises her voice, it's one thing. Mm-hmm. When a woman just tells you what's popping and she's calm, you're like, fuck. Dude, yeah, like, dude. Oh, not man, good. This is not okay.
Not at all. And I knew the weight of the situation. I don't remember the timeline exactly. I want to say it was like September-ish, maybe October. Because I had a couple of, like I said, goes at trying to get dry man that didn't go well. And my response was I wanted to put some effort in. I knew I wanted to like hold my family together. And it's weird because I've looked back a couple of times and it's really strange that there's a correlation between the height of my career as a bartender and how fucking miserable I was. I'm still kind of working through what that mechanism was. And I think it also contributed to my ability to finally walk away from it too.
Yeah.
It was interesting looking back on it in that format where it was like all the awards, all of the write-ups, all of the competitions, and everything like that were pretty much happening when my substance abuse was at its peak. Mm-hmm. And it's unwinding that has been a really interesting process to look back on too. And so I think kind of letting go of both of those things has kind of paved the way for me being able to be present as a father.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm not playing a character. There's no thing that I'm trying to uphold anymore. I'm not, trying to preserve my spot at the top of the bar community or anything like that, man. It was nice to just kind of be like, I'm out.
On a quest to find myself.
Yeah.
That's wild. Yeah, I remember, I think when I quit, I had a couple attempts, same. Yeah, like most of us fucking do, Go to one AA meeting, coming out inspired, convinced that I'm going to be a different man and I'm ready to do all these things. And the reality is, like, I find one reason to drink. I capitalize on that opportunity. Mm-hmm. Then I am such a loser for drinking that I drink myself into oblivion, because I'm like so fucking depressed and I'm such a failure. Repeat, copy, repeat, and dude, I got tired of being helpless, bro. Like, I know who I am as a person. Yeah. I know like what my strength is. Like, I know that what I was doing wasn't my calling. Like, I knew that there was something bigger for me, right? And this life is happening around me with my wife, and we had a child and she was pregnant again. And I'm like, dude, like, how am I present and absent at the same fucking time? Like, it's the strangest conundrum, right? Like, I'm here, but I'm like there, right? Yeah. And when I'm present, I'm looking for an escape. Like, what the fuck is happening? And I realized, bro, like, I'm a slave to this shit, bro. I am absolutely fucking powerless.
Yeah.
And I am terrified to find out what life is like without a mask, right? Like, I was so fucking scared. And maybe I just didn't feel like I was deserving of love or deserving of a family. And I knew that I was going to fuck it up. And if I fucked it up, at least I could blame it on alcohol.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, maybe when I make these shitty decisions and I'm a total fucking dirtbag, I can just say, well, I mean, that's not me. I was drunk. Right? And so, like, maybe in some weird fucking cryptic way, that's what was happening. But bro, like, I do not like answering to others.
Yeah.
And it's even harder answering to myself. Like, that shit was really, really tough.
Yeah.
And yeah, dude, I don't know. I had enough, man. And I started with like 1 hour at a time because I was a sneaky fucking drinker.
Yeah.
I would like I would drink by myself. It sounds like you were a social drinker too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For me, bro, nah, bro. Like I throw a badass pity party. I'm an amazing attendee. I love to like get all my shit. And I know if I got 30 beers that I get to have all 30 and
Yeah.
You know? So I don't know. I was
You set your quota for the night.
yeah, dude, it was crazy.
Yeah.
It was crazy. And also like terrified to actually have to be responsible and accountable, presentable, all those things, you know? And I guess what I realized through my journey, bro, is that I like who I am.
Yeah.
And I started to love myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I started to love the way that my wife looked at me.
Yeah.
You know, I started to love the conversations that I could have with my kiddos and shit. And now they're older, bro. Like my kids, I can have a conversation like this, bro, and they reciprocate. You know, they're young adults, you know, and they're well on their way, and they can ask questions and cast judgment. And I was thinking about it. I'm like, holy shit, none of my kids have ever seen me drunk.
Yeah,
they don't even know what it's like. They don't even like, it's like opening a history book, right? And finding out this little dude tried to conquer every continent, you know what I mean? And they're like, well, that was you. And I'm like, was.
Yeah.
Not anymore, right? Like how fucking cool. They never even saw that side of me, bro. So the only me that they know is the good me, like the new upgraded version, you know?
Yeah. Do you, did you go through a process of any sort of like grieving that old version of you? There's, it's almost this like, I have battled with it and I've gotten through it, but I've had people reach out to me that's like, hey, 3, 6, 9 months sober. You know, what do I look out for kind of thing? And I said, be ready to like grieve your old life, be ready to grieve like that old version of yourself. And then I think one of the to tie this into like a bit of a parenting component, man, I had a really tough time with being sober and still not fucking being okay. Like I remember being like, we're taking this thing out was supposed to fix so much of this shit, man.
Right.
And you're realizing that the work's just starting. And so there was this journey that had to happen where it's like I'm going through, you know, 1, 2, 3 years old with my firstborn and then working through all of that at the same time, man, and like relearning, you know, who the fuck I am, what I like to do. That was one of the hardest things was you don't know what you like to do anymore because everything was so centered around drinking and then everybody disappears. All those fucking friends that you had, man, they fall to the wayside.
Still racing to the bar after they finish work.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Yeah, I definitely struggle with that, bro. Self-identity, bro. You know, you're like, hey, you want to go hike? You like hiking? I'm like, I don't know. Never done it sober.
Yeah.
Like, been up a few mountains against my will and shit. Like, if there's beer at the top, I'll make it up there.
Yep.
Dude, absolutely horrific looking in the mirror and seeing a sober reflection of myself and realizing how little I actually know about myself, how much time I committed to just blanking out. And yeah, I guess the reality is, man, is that everybody dips, bro. Like everybody's gone, right? But I don't think it's everybody leaving my life. I think it's me leaving everybody else's life.
Yep.
Because the reality is, like, if I only have 12 hours, bro, I'm choosing my kids and my wife every time.
Yeah.
Like, even if it's a rerun, even if she's just sleeping on my lap and I'm just like touching her back, you know, I'd rather fucking do that than put myself in jeopardy to make some dumbass decisions with some people that I barely know, or it's superficial, or like I kind of, bro, like, I don't want to roll the dice with any of that shit.
No.
And so I think the reality is that when we're young and intoxicated, bro, we assume that this lifestyle is everything that we need, and it's attractive and it's fun and everybody likes me and I'm the center of attention, you know? And the reality is, like, once I stop drinking, like, I struggle with who the fuck I am, bro. Like, I don't know if I'm still funny. I don't know if people still like me or want to be around me.
Yeah.
But I'm also not really putting myself out there like that. Like, this is the first platform where I've really like tried to do my thing, you know, and see what people are receptive to what I'm doing. And thankfully, like, there's a bunch of people who are just like us, bro. That's why people go to AA, because you want to know, like, yo, am I the only one that's fucking broken like this?
Yep.
And the answer is no. Fuck no. It's like when you join management, right? Once you start like moving up that corporate ladder and you become a manager, bro, you stop getting invited to parties.
Yeah.
And people are talking and telling secrets and shit, and you walk around, they're like, right? Like, so you stop being included in stuff. And I think the initial shock, you're like, yo, what the? It's me. I'm Owen, bro. Like, what the fuck? Why are you not including me? Right? So being like pushed out or left out. But the fact of the matter is, like, here we are doing things and moving in a positive direction and applying ourselves to be better people, to learn more and shit, and those people are still at the bar. And the same stools, your seat's now filled with somebody else who's willing to make those same sacrifices. And the reality is, like, we're not. And, bro, very few people make it out. Very fucking few people make it out.
It's hard, man.
Dog.
It's hard. And it's... There were points that I was hitting. I knew... when I had gotten sober, I needed an outlet, dude. And I'd heard someone refer to it as like the emotional lightning rod phase. When you first get sober, like those first 2 years, dude, it's like you don't know how to process anything.
Dude.
The emotional blanket that you've been holding on to, that's a fucking bottle, is gone. And like, I remember I just needed a physical outlet. And so initially what I ended up doing was I started doing jiu-jitsu again, which is great. And then my addictive personality came out in that.
Shocker.
And yeah, man. It was like, you know, do you need to be training five nights a week, missing dinner and bedtime? Every night you're not closing the bar, you're doing jiu-jitsu? Does that need to be the thing?
Yeah.
Do you need to compete? Do you need to train to want to win the tournament kind of thing? Yeah. I was like, fuck. And so I caught myself there.
Good for you, man.
And it was pivot to ultra running. And it was like, okay, cool. This is a good outlet. I like being outside. I can do all of this stuff and make these things. And then it's same fucking thing, dude. Like I told you guys,
gotta get the best running shoes, bro.
Yeah, man.
Need to get my gear on, man. Yeah, for sure.
And so that, I think some of the time it's like the balance. Like where do I draw the line with investing in myself, doing things that are good for me, to keep me in a place where I can be present for you? Like there is a trade-off. There's going to be time lost that I have to invest into me. But then the way that I look at it now is when I'm doing that, the time that I'm spending with you, because I've been able to invest that back into me, is so much more enriched than like me being halfway there.
I need time alone to re-energize and to like center myself. Which sounds kind of weird. A breaking point for me, I was going to work and I was sober, and a couple years in, and my wife's like, "Hey, sit down. I want to talk to you real quick." I'm like, "Oh, fuck, gotta go. I'm already behind."
Yep.
She's like, "Focus. Sit down." She's like, "Where are you going?" I'm like, "I gotta go to fucking work." "When are you coming home?" I'm like, "When the job's done." She's like, "That's starting to be a problem for me. That's starting to be a problem for us."
Yeah.
She's like, "You work every weekend. You work long ass hours." She's like, "If you get in a car crash and die on your way to work, they will mourn you. They will fill your position, and they will continue to operate.
Yep.
And we will never, ever, ever recover. Our lives will forever be fucked.
Yeah.
Who are you giving your time to?" And I was like, man, that is, why you tell me that shit before I go to work? Fuck, man.
You're calling in.
Like, damn. And she's like, "I've been thinking about it, man." She's like, "I feel like a single mom." I'm like, "Oh, you doubled down, bro? That's like that's a 2-punch combo, you know?" And she's like, "I do. You know, I go to shit and you're working on weekends, and I go to things and I bring the girls, and, you know, other parents are like, 'Yo, where's your husband?' You know, you talk about him. Is he going to show up? Whatever. And she's like, I don't like the feeling of not being a family unit."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, we're missing one of the key elements. She's like, "We need you, man."
Yeah.
And so it was like at that point that I started to kind of like redirect my energy. And so I still do allocate time for myself. But other times when I feel like maybe I'm not invested and I do want time for myself, that's the sacrifice time, bro. That's where I make that personal sacrifice and I say, "Yo, what's happening here is more important than what I need to happen here."
Yeah.
And I think, you know, part of my alone time is for me to still kind of learn who I am, because I still don't know. I'm still learning.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to find shit out. I still have a short temper. When you were like, "Yo, you stop drinking, everything's supposed to be solved." You know, a fucking bill comes and I'm like, wow, that shit's still there?
Yep.
I drank that away like 5 years ago. How is it still there? I threw it in the trash. I had like 15 Coronas and that was basically paid. You know what I mean? And now it's fucking gone.
Yeah.
But it's still there. And quitting drinking didn't make me a more patient person. It didn't help me be more understanding. Like those are all things that I still have to learn, bro. And I'm still trying and I'm still working on, and it's still fucking hard. But thankfully, like through my journey, my kids and my wife are witnessing like me at least trying, you know what I mean? Like I apologize often and I communicate often. And so they know that I'm an imperfect human. And I think there's something important for them to see me be vulnerable and not think of me as this superhuman person that they have to like try to mimic my movements and shit. I'm like, yo, I'm broken and shit.
Yeah.
But I'm repairing myself.
Yep.
And you can do it too. You can be a part of this. You can do it with me. You know, so hopefully I don't fuck them up too bad. I already know that, bro, like we all are going to be topics of therapy sessions later on in life, man.
It's unavoidable. It's unavoidable.
And no parent sets out on this journey like, I'm going to fuck these kids up, you know? Like, I'm going to run this kid through the ringer.
Yep.
But almost every single person that I know has childhood trauma. Almost every single one has issues with their family.
Yeah.
You know, it's like mom or dad call, you like look at the phone, you're like, ugh. You know, hey, are you inviting your parents over for Thanksgiving? You're like, who's going to be there? Right? Like we got to navigate all this shit, bro. It's tough, man. And I don't know, man, like for me, sobriety and parenting, I'm just happy that I was able to put the bottle down, bro, and tune in while I did, you know what I mean? Because we only get our kids for a certain amount of time, bro.
It's so finite. It's so finite. And like we were talking about, like how that identification of that has just changed the perception of everything else. It's like there was a podcast I was listening to, and I can't remember exactly the way they broke it down, but when you're at the point that we're at, you're only going to get so many more interactions with your parents before they're gone too.
Dude, I've heard that one before, right?
And that fucked me up, dude, because when you start looking at it through that lens, even in the reverse, like I said, man, like I hear stuff like that and I start looking backwards and I'm like, my kids are going to hear that someday. And their time with me is quickly running out. And I think had I not gotten sober when I did, I'd be so fucking mad at myself right now, man. Could you imagine having like drank through to right now with your kids, how much you would have missed and just not been able to take in? Like it really is, having kids is just, it's such a special thing that you get to hold on to. And like you were saying, like your wife had pointed out, like I think she maybe unknowingly was saying this, but you're missing so much, dude.
It's fucking crazy, huh?
You're missing so much. And that was what I ended up getting out from behind the bar for, was Cooper was born and 3 days later I was behind the bar. 3 days after he was born, slinging fucking drinks, dude. And it's
tough when your wife sends you a photo of her and the kids.
Dude.
And you're not in it.
They think they're including you.
Yeah. Look at what we're doing. I'm like,
you're like,
looks fun.
Fuck.
Yeah. You guys are at the fucking zoo.
Yep.
Seeing animals for the first time.
Yeah. I got a video of Cooper walking for the first time when I was at work, and I was just like,
yeah.
Fuck. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess through all this, bro, one of the biggest takeaways for me, the things that we've missed, the bad decisions we've made, bro, it's not too late to change.
Yep.
Like that's what it always is for me, right? Like I talk to my wife about that all the time, you know, and we communicate often, and I think we're consistently like let down by other people and their decisions and shit. I'm like, yo, all we can do is work on us. And honestly, bro, like it's not too late to change.
Yep.
Like I fucking love that. You know, no matter how old somebody is or what you got going on in life, bro, if you really want some shit, you find that inner strength and you make it pop. Otherwise, you just fucking don't.
Yeah.
And you go through life, right? But that decision is not for me.
Amen.
That shit ain't for my entire squad, right? Like over here, like we make those changes. We capitalize on that opportunity to actually do shit and be different, because that's how exceptional people happen, right? Like do some basic ass shit and be basic, or make some exceptional ass fucking hard decisions and live a fucking glorious life, you know? Like, I don't know. I want more out of life. You know what I mean?
And your girls are seeing that too, and they'll want more because of that too, man.
I want them to answer my fucking phone calls when I call them later on in life. You know what I mean? Like, no bullshit, dude.
Oh, fuck.
Right?
Like, how do you want your kid to respond when they see your name pop up on their phone 20 years from now? Ooh.
Right? And the thing is too, like for me right now, like my kids are my everything. Like every single like moment and thought that I have, like, what are we going to eat? And I'm like, what are we going to eat? Right? When are we going to go? When are we going to go? Like, what will we be doing? What will we be doing? Right?
Yep.
And so everything surrounds them, but I'm only a portion of their life.
Sure.
I'm only the home portion, right? They have like the whole school. Carradine now has work and other things. And so I'm just like a fraction of their life, you know? And so I'm like, man, that's a tough epiphany to have, bro. Like, I'm not your everything. And they're like, no, you're my parents.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck.
Like, no.
but there's more to me than that.
Yeah,
you know, I'm telling you, I'm cooler than that.
Yeah.
And so now, like, at this point, I'm starting to kind of like redirect more of my emotion and attention to my wife and really like fostering that marriage and like being an awesome partner to her. Hopefully, baby, correct me if I'm wrong. You know, I want to be the shit.
Yep.
But I think that's hugely important to not leave our marriage in the dust while I'm focusing on being a dad.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Which is like a fucking crazy balance, right? But I know that we're better off not drinking. I know that you've like dove into personal health and wellness and fitness as part of like your healing and growing process, which is huge, man, because dude, I hit 40, bro, and lower back, bro, and legs and involuntary noises when I'm like picking shit up, bro. Like it fucking changes. And I've always been like a little skinny dude.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God. So you're telling me that nobody's exempt from age? Because I've got this fucking ticket.
Yep.
And it said it ain't gonna happen to me. And here it's happening to me. And so it's like this baffling, just like the realization that I'm getting up there, bro. And at any point in time, anything could happen. So what I do with these moments, they fucking matter, which is why this whole thing came to light. I'm like, yo, dude, like, I want to be a better parent. You want to be a better parent. You know, Bill wants to be a better parent. Like all the people that come on the show, everybody wants to invest in parenting.
Yeah.
And these people are going to be the next generation of human beings. Like, fuck yeah, we can do better.
Something I was thinking about too, I don't know if you've ever thought about this with this podcast. When all's said and done and everything plays out and like you're not here anymore, your daughters are going to have a Rolodex to look back on.
Bro, that's sick.
Of you talking about how much you fucking care about them.
That shit fucking make me emotional, bro. Like I honestly, I hadn't considered the fact that they can look back. Fuck, that was deep.
Yeah.
Thank you, bro.
Yep.
Holy shit, bro. That was fucking badass, man. Yeah, man. I don't know. There's a lot of kids out there who don't get the opportunity to connect with their parents. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if anything, if we can inspire one or two parents out there to be more connected and to see perspective and to listen, because ultimately, like, we all want to be heard, right?
Yeah.
That's fucking huge, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here, dog.
Thanks for having me, bud.
Yo, I'm getting the wrap up from Bill. He's getting us out of the studio. It's probably been up there for 10 minutes, man, but I feel like we could literally talk for like, I don't know, 3 or 4 more days.
Probably.
So definitely want to have you back on the show, man. I want to tap into a lot of the stuff that you got on, you know, in your life, man. I know that you're taking your fitness journey hella serious. I know that you're considering doing some podcasting, some sobriety stuff. I know that you're taking your sobriety hella serious. I want to learn more about, you know, your wife and your kiddos, man. We kind of went off on like 15 different maps right here, which is how it's supposed to be, man.
Yep.
So I'd love to invite you back, man. We'll schedule a time here in the next couple weeks, man. We'll get you back in the studio, bro. Chop it up a little bit more. Do you have anything else for the viewers, for your wife, for your kiddos, anything of that nature?
No, not too much, man. Just know, like, Tay, Coop, Silas, I love you guys. You're the reason I'm here having this conversation with my good buddy here. So anybody out there is struggling and needs help in any way, shape, or form, I've got my social media channels. I'm happy to chat with anybody about sobriety or if they're struggling with parenthood or anything like that. So please, if you feel like you need someone to talk to, like I'm always open to interactions like that, man. So yeah, I'm more than happy to help out in that nature.
Thanks for being a part of the movement, bro.
Yep.
And that's what it is, right? Like it's a movement, man. It's a whole mind shift and an approach to parenting that hopefully inspires other people to take pride in the parenting work that's being done, man.
Yep.
So that's what's up, man. For everybody else out there, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining. I hope you liked the show today, man. Keifer Gilbert, live in effect. You know what to do. Like, subscribe, tell a mom, tell a dad, tell a kid, tell a friend. Until next time, stay dope. Thank you for joining us on the Dope Dad Podcast. If you like what you heard, be sure to share it with a friend. You can support the show by giving a like, sharing, and subscribing, and you can find us on YouTube or wherever you're getting your podcast fix. If there's content you'd like to hear more of, please leave a comment. We'll make sure we try to get it in the show. Continue to tune in for more dope guests and real conversation.